My name is Dave fucking Eastgate. My name's Dave Eastgate. Fuck you. I got into comedy through the Sit Down Comedy Club. Back in the day, they had an open mic at the Lands office, and I was in a double act at the time. We'd done a couple of open mics on the Gold Coast, and I remember this one night, it was our big debut in Brisbane. Had an open mic in front of 5 people. We smashed it, and Fideli, who owns the Sit Down Comedy Club, threw us in his Ford Capri. It's a 2-seater. So my mate sat in the front and I sat in the boot. And he drove us over to the Dockside Club, which it was at that point, over the other side of the river. And the rest is history. Here I am. What were you doing before comedy? Before comedy, I was doing high school. It was literally straight out of high school. I did get a job at Dreamworld in the Bushranger stunt show. And then I went on to the Movie World Police Academy stunt show. So I did stunts for a long time. But as a side hustle, stunts was my side hustle. And comedy was my go-to since I was 18, since I was legal. But I'd been doing stunts since I was 16. So, you know what I mean? Look at me. I look like a stunt guy. I'd have to say making people happy, making people laugh is obviously amazing. But the travel... But if I was going to pick one thing, I would say the bitchiness of other comedians. Oh, I bombed here one night at the Paddo very early on in my career. And there's this comedian called Jonathan Atherton who was emceeing that night. And it was like my first support act. And I was supporting Stephen K. Amos. And so, like, big act for your first proper 20-minute support act. Anyway, I came off, and Jonathan Atherton went on stage and said, well, that was shit. Then it was so shit, it was almost funny. And then it just finished up as shit. As a kid growing up, my favourite comedians were Lano and Woodley, Doug Anthony All-Stars, Umbilical Brothers, and Scared Weird Little Guys. So they were all groups and duos, and all of them had a bit of music and just something different. Like there was something different as opposed to just somebody speaking into a microphone and telling jokes. So... which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. And when I started out, I was trying to emulate those guys. And then I kind of came, over the years, I kind of came full circle. And now I just get up and tell jokes into a microphone. But, yeah, so those guys were really influential for me. The highlight of my career so far would easily be sharing the stage with Robin Williams. I was emceeing a night where Gary Eck was the headline comedian, and he was a writer on Happy Feet, or Happy Feet 2. And him and Bector Unamuno and a few other American comedians were working on that film, as well as Robin, and that was their rap party, I guess, was to come and see Gary Eck as the headliner. Gary was humble enough to let all of the other comedians that had worked on the movie get up and do a spot. Everybody was wanting Robin to do a spot. and he was declining. He was like, no. I've just done a 70-date tour of the United States. I'm just here to watch. As I say, I was emceeing. Desh was on that night as the support act, and Gary was the headliner, as I say. But hearing Robin Williams laugh at my jokes, and then when I got off stage, he hugged me and high five, like we did the bro hug, and he said, "That was fucking beautiful, man." And just got chills just then. It was one of the it was an amazing fucking night. Also, there was one night here when Jonathan Atherton said that I was shit, and then I was so shit I was almost funny, and then I finished up as shit. So it's hard to pick between those two highlights. It has changed in references, I think. I think comedy is completely universal. I've done comedy in Japanese. I've done comedy in Papua New Guinea and Pidgin. I speak 3 languages. Whatever. But from my experience, watching comedy all over the world, performing comedy all over the world, I've noticed that everything is pretty much the same. Everybody tries to say that there's this type of humor or that type of humor. There's this country's humor. There's that country's humor. There's this. Everybody tries to break it down, but I actually think as human beings, we all share innate humor. I think that the only thing that changes is references. But otherwise, humor is pretty much the same. I have found that people get outraged by stupid shit more these days. And I think that's a shame. I think that, people take offense a bit too much. But I think people take offense a lot more than we used to. So, I think there's a balance there. But at the end of the day, it's the same shit. Farts are funny. My advice to comedians starting out is fail, fail, fail. It's how you learn. Get out there, give it a crack, and go and fail and learn from your mistakes. Because the more mistakes you make, the better you'll become. Also, if you really suck, give up. Learn your limits. Fail, but know when, if you can't get better, give up. It's not for you. There's a reason why I'm not an online content producer. Thanks for watching. Dave Eastgate brings Dave Eastgate to the Sit Down Comedy Club's online content. Please find me at Dave Eastgate on Instagram. I've given up on Twitter. My Facebook page is my band page, Dave Eastgate and Boner Contention. My band is called Boner Contention. And we have 3 singles out at the moment on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. They are Bad Specimen, Little Dick, and our love ballad, I'll Settle For You. It goes like this. I'll settle for you. We just got Netflix. Settle for you. We make love with the light off. I settle for you. We've got all of the same group of friends. So breaking up would be awkward for them.